Good evening, folks. Episode number 173 tonight. Hey, me and Dave have been doing this for 4 years now, and thank you for tuning in each and every week when we do it. Everybody knows our story. We love to promote short track racing all around the United States. Got a lot of news to talk about tonight, Dave.
I tell you what, this is like the equivalent of us going from radio to television, So here we are, the fans. This is something that Mike and I, we like to do things the right way. We've been waiting for a whole year to do this, and here we are on StreamYard, and eventually we'll have it where we're live. We're recording it now, but eventually we'll have it live for you guys to chime in with your questions and comments. And Mike, we're so excited because now we're able to do a lot more things, including the sound will be better. Plus, we'll have a lot more guests coming on the show now that we're on StreamYard, where we can stream. You see on the bottom of the screen for those that are watching, you can see we're on YouTube and Facebook, and you can click and subscribe. And definitely would love to have you, and that way you'll know whenever we have our show.
Yes, sir. They certainly will. I was talking about it today. Wake County Speedway was over at the PNC Arena today,
Right.
For the NASCAR Hurricane hockey game that they had over there. So we were out plugging that today. Mark Arson and the fine folks from Wake County Speedway were over there. A lot of stuff going on, Dave, this week. Chili Bowl just wrapped up last night. It started a week ago, and on night number one, McIntosh won. Shane Golobic came home in P2. Chris Wyndham was P3. So a lot of stuff going on out there. Frankie Muniz, he did TV and then did a lot of movies. I think Agent Cody Banks and some other stuff. The young man's from right here around Raleigh, Nightdale, out that way back in the day. He was down in Daytona these past 2 days. Everybody had a good time down there. It rained Friday morning, and once they got the track cleared up and everything, then we had a good Friday test down there. A lot of single car runs and everything. And then some guys picked up after one day and went home, and some guys stayed down and got both days in. So Frankie's trying to make a comeback. He got hurt a few years ago, and he's been working really hard, securing sponsorship and everything. And he was just one of 62 drivers at Daytona this past weekend. Cold down there, Dave. 41 yesterday morning in Daytona. The cars ran good. The two young ladies that run for Venturini Motorsports ended up top on the speed charts yesterday. I've got their name and notes on page number 2 of our notes here. There's so much stuff going on. The Venturi Motorsports ladies, they were the quickest at the Daytona ARCA test. Tony Breedinger and Amber Balclowin racing. They were the two fastest women down there this weekend at Daytona. March the 31st, opening night at Wake County Speedway, sponsored by Eagle Rock Concrete, LeithCars.com. They have re-upped with the advertising up there in Milton, North Carolina at Virginia International Raceway, the road course up there. So Mark will do another 60 and 60 video from there, I'm sure, up there this year. Excuse me, Dave. Jeremy and Dawn Gershner, they are looking for sponsorship for Speed Weeks at New Smyrna. Okay. Just a few short days, Dave. Everything's getting really, really close. It's 36 days until the 500, I believe.
Oh, man.
27 days until the NASCAR Wayland Modified Tour kicks off their season at New Smyrna Beach, Florida, down there for Speed Weeks, and that'll be a good show down there as well. February the 11th will be the opener, so make plans to attend. They've done a lot of work at New Smyrna. Track is always beautiful and bad fast, sir. Bad fast down there.
No question. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about our new season right here. As you'll still have the traditional podcast that, by the way, I was going to tell fans that, Mike, where they'll still be able to hear it. They've been hearing it for 4 years. Don't worry. If you listen to your favorite podcasts on your favorite podcast player like Apple, Stitcher, we are on Google. We always talk about those, Amazon or the likes, then you'll still be able to hear the show. It'll obviously sound better. We've had to record the show for 4 years on the phone. The good news is we're just like with NASCAR, with the next gen car, right, Mike? They had the next gen car last year. Here we're up in our game, and we're also doing a lot of R&D behind the scenes. And again, just so excited to have you on here. And there's so much to talk about as you talk about that, Mike. With just want to get your feelings on Kevin Harvick. He's still going to race, but not full time in NASCAR. And look at his numbers: 60 wins. He's got 2 Xfinity championships. Of course, the 2014 NASCAR championship, the Cup Series, and he, of course, was the 2007 winner of the Daytona 500. If he doesn't get in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, I don't know who does, my friend.
Oh, there's been so much talk about Harvick the last few days since he announced his retirement from Cup racing. And then at the same time, Dave, they had that big story break about the car store and Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, and the young man that owns the Trackhouse team.
Oh yeah,
Justin Marks. They have purchased that series from Jack McNally and are taking that to the next level. And to see Harvick has spent his winter building a late model stock car. So Keelan's coming along. He's growing big. He's running Legends right now for Ron Hornaday Jr. out of Charlotte, and Ron's got a strong Legends program down there. They'll be running the winter shootout from Charlotte in just a few weeks with bandos and Legends and everything else from down there. So Harvick has had such a strong career. I can't believe that he's been doing it as long as he's been in the sport, because it seems like yesterday he was taking over for Earnhardt, and has always been a hard charger and a showstopper, man. Just a good thing. You just saw Bubba pop up for just a moment. So I want to thank Bubba for putting all this together for us, man. I don't have the knowledge or the computer skills to get it done. I can talk some racing now, but as far as knowing all the computer stuff, got to thank Dave. Thank you so much, Bubba Rosenbaum, Kyle. Yeah. I mean, all you guys. If it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself each and every week.
No doubt. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have some fun. And by the way, I want to get your thoughts again on, I know some of the biggest problem we have is that some fans are too hard on NASCAR, I think. But what about out at the LA Coliseum? I'm really excited to have that back. I actually like those kind of events. I think it's great for the sport, especially in Los Angeles. If you think about it, that's a huge market for us, Mike. And as we look to grow and continue to get better, bigger and better, my key thing for NASCAR is they're bringing back the tracks. You're bringing back, of course, North Wilkesboro. We've talked a lot about they are putting a lot of money into the track in Nashville, Rockingham, a lot of those tracks around North Carolina. I have no issues with NASCAR expanding. Just don't forget where you came from. I think that's what's most fans like myself. We want to make sure we keep the heritage of the sport. But at the same time, if you're a fan, you should know that we want to grow the sport as well.
We have now. Right before Sandra passed, she got me a book last Christmas from looking from the West Coast, and Ken Tripp and everything that he did out there. He wrote a good book that's available right now on coastal181.com, Dave. The West Coast has always been in the mix out there, and there's so many strong people that came from the West Coast. Harvick comes to mind.
California.
Hornaday Jr. Hornaday Jr.'s daddy was a terror out there. And then the Winston West series. See, when we were on the East Coast running, we had the same cars running out on the West Coast underneath the Winston West banner. So there was just so much stuff going on out there. Always has been, Dave. Glad to see them hitting these new markets. They're coming into Chicago this year with the road course. A lot of new blood coming into the sport. So proud of Ben Kennedy. I started following Ben back in the day. He about ran over me at New Smyrna one speed weeks down there when he came in off the from practice, and I about stepped out in front of his truck. He was running a fast car truck down there. Then young man, 15, 16 years old, and I was going to talk about him later. He signed a new driver for their program that they'll be cranking things up just a few short weeks in Georgia with Ben Kennedy Racing. So Ben, Jim France, and Ben's mama, they've been grooming him. They've got him in touch with the right people inside the inside the organization. This is good. Growth is good, and getting things situated on this new car. This is the second year, Dave. So a lot of good things happening in the sport right now. And then on the short track side of things, oh Lord have mercy, man. Things have just, that deal with Junior and Burton and Harvick and Marks jumping in on a cars tour. That's going to take that spot to a whole different level. And see, we've got them coming twice this year to Wake County Speedway. Wake County coming off the strongest year ever in their 60-plus year history. This will be our 61st year this year at Wake County Speedway, Simpkins Road, Raleigh, North Carolina. And Michael's coming back. We have a tour opener for the Cars Tour on March the 11th in Lucama, North Carolina at Southern National Motorsports Park. So a lot of good things happening in the sport right now, my friend. And they're running it all over now. Now, Bobby Pierce won out in Arizona. The shootout out there had a good run. Bobby ran first. Reese Solendera ran second. Tom Berry Jr. Ran third Friday night at the Wild West Shootout out in Arizona. Also, JGR, the photo I've got behind me here, the blanket I've got put up back here, Tony Stewart. Dave is a young man that is sharp. He's only 16 years old, and I didn't think that he was going to be able to run Daytona because of his age. But William Sawalik, keep an eye out on this young man. He is a super wheel man. A lot of races last year. He's moved into the ARCA Menards East Series, running for JGR. And Joe Gibbs, they have great race cars. A lot of other guys. I want to give a shout out to Willie Mullins. He was down with a half a dozen drivers this weekend at Daytona. Landon Huffman had a good run. Young man, track champion up at Hickory, and his daddy from back in the day driving the little 4 cylinders, and then they went up to 6 cylinders, the Darlington Dash class. Huffman, a great wheelman. 62 drivers practiced at Daytona Friday and Saturday. So a lot of talent all over the nation, Dave.
I tell you what, I'm excited. In fact, listening to NASCAR radio on Sirius XM, they were talking a week or so ago, and one of the people they were talking about that you and I know very well is not that we're close to him personally, but Josh Berry. They mentioned him, and there was others they mentioned off the top of my head. He comes to mind. Really excited about him. Obviously, Mason Diaz, we think a lot of, with his dad Michael on the track there at Southern National. I mean, it's really a great time if you've ever wanted to be a NASCAR fan. the good news is that there's times in sports where you see where there's drivers getting old and you're wondering how long can they hold on to the sport. Well, the good news for us, we have a good problem, and that is we have a lot of young, I call them young guns. I don't know if that's appropriate in the political correctness world that we live in now, but I call them young guns. And we've got a lot of young guns coming up over the last few years that are really making and just guys that have been in the sport with their dads being a driver, or there's situations where guys coming up that maybe their dad was not in the or mom was not in the NASCAR, but just really happy to see this new crop of drivers. We talk about it a lot, but I think it's important because, you know, I was interviewing him at Southern National just a couple of years ago. Here he is with Xfinity starts being Josh Berry, and everywhere the guy goes, he wins. So it won't be long, and I feel like he'll be at the Cup level, don't you? Or at least
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's on the fast track. He's got a great thing going with Earnhardt. He builds and maintains cars like from back in the day, Dave. He's the one that put that gold number 3 together that Earnhardt drove at Florence this past fall, and then Barry won with the same car, $50,000. I want to give a shout out to Kurt and Lynette Ipock. Yes, sir. Putting up at $50,000 this fall at the Classic. Josh Berry took that money and took it back down to Mooresville, man. He was the way the pit stops and everything played out at Southern National. He was on it. A lot of so much talent in all these divisions, Dave. So while 16 years old, quickest Friday at Daytona. And then there's 2 women that were quick yesterday down there. Tony and Amber, golly, they're driving for Billy Venturini. That Venturini stuff is good. They were one of the first people that got into it. And Bill, longtime competitor, when he moved from Chicago, sold his gas stations and moved to Charlotte, started renting out cars. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Getting into program and everything. Just a great thing. Dave, more good news right here in North Carolina.
All right.
Goodyear All-American Speedway is going NASCAR this year. So Saturday night in Jacksonville, North Carolina, down by the beach, they've got a new name change, New River All-American Speedway. They'll be running and drivers from the tri-state area, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, they can get points Friday night at Wake County Speedway, and then tow down to Jacksonville on Saturday night and get points down there at New River All-American Speedway. Have you signed up, Dave, for the $2 million Kevin Harvick money deal that's going to be for the 500? Have you signed up for that yet?
No. How do I sign up?
You need to go on Talkin Racing with Mike Ray on
Okay.
the Facebook website.
Okay.
I shared that link yesterday.
All right.
Harvick and Busch Beer are giving away $2 million to one lucky fan if Harvick can win the 500 this year on the Swan Song going out at Daytona. So if he can win the Daytona $500, $2 million, Dave.
You know, I don't normally, we pick our people. I don't normally have a favorite driver, as you know, like you don't have a favorite driver. We just love the sport. But I tell you what, I'm going to sign up for it, and I'm going to be pulling hard for Harvick, baby. I want that $2 million.
Well, my favorite driver is right behind me, Richard Petty, and see, always the king, pulled for him back in the day. Richie Evans. Speaking of another good driver of mine, I want to congratulate Reggie Ruggiero getting in the Eastern Press Association Motorsports Hall of Fame last night up north. So that was a good thing for them.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what else. We've got to talk about all the deaths this week, Dave. There's been so many of them. Rest in peace, Robbie Knievel. Robbie was only 60 years old, Evil's son. passed, the cancer got him.
Yeah.
It's just there was so much. Me and my daughter were talking earlier today, and there's just been so many young lives lost. Lisa Marie Presley,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy,
54.
had a heart attack. What was she? 54, I think he said.
Yeah, because she literally, I'm getting ready to turn 50 in April, so she's only a handful of years, and that hits home because, you know, and her dad was 42 when he passed away, as you know, August 16th, 1977. I was a little boy, and um, I'm a huge Elvis fan. That's my favorite performer of all time. And unfortunately, he died before I really had a chance to see him. In fact, my aunt and uncle had tickets. He was supposed to perform September in Fayetteville, there, you know, the Crown and all that, you know, that area there, and that complex. And unfortunately, he died a month before the concert. But anyway, Lisa Marie, what a sweetheart, you know, and I can't imagine being the daughter of Elvis Presley. I mean, you know, like no pressure. And then you have your mom being a famous actress as well, Priscilla, I mean Presley, and so that's really hard. So definitely rest in peace to her, and hopefully she. That was a really, you know, her dad passed away with cardiac arrest, and she just didn't, unfortunately, make it. They rushed her to the hospital that afternoon, and she didn't make it a few days ago. So very sad situation, especially like I said, 54 years old. Not to ramble on Mike, but that's way too young to pass away.
Oh, way too young. Jeff Beck passed this week. And then
That's
last night down in Athens, Georgia, Dave, two young people died at about 2:45 this morning. A young 20-year-old football player on the Dogs, and then a girl that was a recruiting girl with the Georgia Bulldogs. And I remember a girl named Chandler that was very popular up here at NC State, and I believe she ended up going back down there to Georgia. And I just wondered about that young lady. But pray for all these families because we lost them and many more this week.
we
Now,
did have.
some good news, Dave.
Yeah.
We're going to change it up and get to the good news.
All right.
Congratulations to Todd and Marissa Gilliland. They got married this weekend, so congratulations to them. Rockfish Speedway, the 2023 Jack Champs, James Foster, Steve Murray Jr., Bradley Maulding, Stephen Dunn, and Tristan Stevenson. Logan Seavely won the night number 6, the biggest night of the week at the Chili Bowl. Logan won that last night. Want to give a shout out to Boo Boo Dalton, Dave.
Yes.
Yes, the 2022 All-Pro Late Model Champ. With that series of Florence Motor Speedway, they had their banquet last night in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Boo Boo picked up that hardware. And then I told you earlier about Reggie Ruggiero getting the Eastern Motorsports Hall of Fame. Well, also, Mike Joy was inducted in that same group, that class last night up north. So I want to give a shout out to Mike Joy. Now, Dave, I'm sorry, buddy. You know that I always lose track of time. And I have no idea how long we've talked.
We're actually in good shape. We're at 24 minutes, my friend.
Good, good, good. You know, one thing we were laughing in the green room before we came on, our jobs are fine. I want to thank you and Bubba, Kyle, for taking this show to the next level, Dave. I'm going to keep on keeping on. My voice is going to come back strong. Quitting smoking again after tonight. Tomorrow will be day one. I've got plenty of those patches that you wear on your arm and everything, and just can't breathe anymore, son. So thinking good and positive thought as the season gets closer and closer to Daytona. You know, February the the 5th, LA,
Mhm.
the big show out there in California, and then before you know it, they'll be at Daytona. Racing going on everywhere, Dave. I
I,
don't care if you drive a go-kart. You've got some go-kart news, sir.
well, I was just going to tell you that we're going to try to have some of the go karts. It's funny because we've always known, about go karts, but it just seems like these tracks are popping up left and right. Especially, I think there's 3 tracks here in my county alone. In Everett's, I think there's one in Beargrass and one. In fact, a buddy of mine, Jeff Lewis, we'll have to have him on. I believe their track is opening up. I think he said April. I'll have to double check with him, but he'll definitely come on, I'm sure. But man, go karts these tracks are just, it's amazing to have 3 in our county. That tells you, I guess, where the sport is going, or um, I don't know. I've just never seen it this hot as far as go karts are concerned. Maybe you know more than I do.
No, there's so many of our friends, Dave, that when East Carolina closed, that now those same people that I was friends with 20 years ago when me and Miss Hot Rod went to East Carolina, those guys are running go karts now. I reported on them last week. The sport is growing by leaps and bounds. Former Xfinity driver Hermie Sadler is building chassis, Premier chassis. A lot of people, Dave. We were talking the other day. A lot of people think that they were talking about Harvick retiring, and I'm so glad that Harvick is retiring. But Harvick's not going anywhere. None of us retire from this sport. I mean, once you get in it, if you're hardcore, you're in it.
Oh
And
yeah,
the only thing that'll change with Harvick is he'll go back to doing Kevin Harvick stuff and getting Keelan ready to go further up in the sport. You'll be seeing Piper before you know it. She'll be doing things in the sport because there are so many women
sure.
that where the sport and since the beginning of time with the automobile, there's been a lot of women involved, but just a lot of them you didn't know about until now, and it's really opened up, and we've got strong young guns, males and females, that are coming up through the different ranks.
I got to put you on the spot now. On Sunday, April the 16th, where are you going to be?
Sunday, April the 16th. Is that Martinsville?
Yes, sir.
Good. That's where I'm gonna be. And listen, I'll tell you, we're gonna go to a show. I'm sure Alex will have a meet and greet up there Sunday morning somewhere.
Oh man.
We'll find out where it is,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have to take a scooter with me, I believe. But I just bought new batteries for the thing, and I need to run them to keep them charged up because whether they're new or not, if you just sit around with them, and that's what I've been doing with them, they'll go bad on you. So I
Yep.
need to get out and run that thing back and forth to the store a couple of times here, and can't wait for Martinsville. And looking forward to it. Dave, there are certain tracks in the sport that you need to go check out. And Martinsville Speedway, we were talking in the green room, built in '47, H. Clay Earls. Golly, I had never seen a more beautiful track than when my daddy took me up there, October of '69 for the
Wow.
Cardinal 500. And that duck pond up there, there's just so many memories. I've had such a great time growing up at Martinsville, and it is my favorite short track. And then on the other extreme, I haven't been to Daytona since they've done all these new improvements down there,
I want to
but
see
that
it.
place is a show place. So whether you go to a short track or a big track, get out and support NASCAR. Get out and support your local track. Like you said, Dave, we're on everything, man. We're on Spotify, Geo Savant, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Google Podcast, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Castbox, iHeart, Apple, Podchasers, Deezer, Amazon, Radio.com, Loud Notes. We're all over the place, my friend. So it's so much fun doing this, Dave. I don't know. Maybe we've talked 6 minutes. I really don't know.
We're at that. We're just barely over 30 minutes. And fans, by the way, you can email us, trmikeray@gmail.com, trmikeray@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on the show, by all means, this is our season. We're going to open things up, and I'm proud of Mike. I just want to take the time to thank you for believing in me and Bubba. And I know Kyle is actually, now that North Wilkesboro is coming back, he's excited. And those are the kind of things to get the fans that left the sport, like Kyle from LaGrange Barber, that grew up a NASCAR fan. That's how we get. He's in the 40-somethings, and we need the 20-somethings and my kids that are not too far from me here in the living room. They're soon to be 10 and 9, and they love, as you know, Mike, they were bragging about you. I forgot to tell you that a few days ago, because I called you Uncle Mike. And they said, Mackenzie, even my daughter, she said, that's the guy, he's always so good to us and he gives us stuff. So I told her about you in the speed shop, the swag shop there at Southern National, and they love you to death. So that's getting those kids there, and you're such a great ambassador to sport, not only your history, but with those checkered flags that you have for sale and those kinds of things, and even down for the ear protection for the earplugs. But those die-cast cars, I'm just obsessed with those things. If I had a room that I could put all the die-cast, I would definitely buy a whole bunch and have a collection. I just don't have enough room for what I really want to do with stuff like that. So, but I absolutely love, you got the great thing, and I'll give you a plug and we'll get out of here. You have, the cool thing is, you're like me. You love those old drivers. I can reminisce when I was a little boy, like my kids. But then you've got the young guns we talked about, the new guys of the sport, and it's the best of both worlds. And I want to give you a shout out. I know you have a Facebook page and places where people can buy your stuff. And also, we were talking about, we're going to get in the springtime, or we're going to get some T-shirts made where we'll give those away and people can buy them in your speed shop, right?
Oh yeah, I've already talked to Brandon about that. I mentioned to Brandon the other day, Monday or Tuesday on Facebook. He's getting ready to go run at the Freedom Factory. I thought that he went down last week and ran down there, but so he'll be heading down to Florida and running down there. He's already had a strong 2023. My T-shirt man, Left Turn Designs. If you need anything, he's got a Swainsboro over by the beach over there. So there's just so much stuff going on, Dave.
Right.
Got everything for you. The name of my little store on Facebook is Mike's Speed Shop. I named it after Big Daddy Don Garlitz. Miss Hot Rod was like, "Why'd you do that?" Well, I like Big Daddy. Big Daddy Don was my straight line man. He still is. Happy birthday to Big Daddy Don. 91 or 92 years old, Dave.
Wow.
So, yeah, and the Gator Nationals will be coming up here shortly. That season will start in California and then move to Florida. So a lot of racing going all over. Whatever you like, Dave.
Hey,
whether it's F1, we're waiting now for the new Mercedes. The M14 is coming out this year in just a few weeks. Hopefully that porpoising has been solved, and Toto and the rest of the team over there in England. Happy birthday to Lewis. Lewis just had a birthday this past weekend as well, and was over in Sweden or somewhere. So a lot of stuff going on, Dave. A lot of racing. It's just now starting, my friend.
Yeah, this isn't racing, but I got to give you a shout out because you waited a long time, and all of a sudden you have back-to-back national championships. Your dogs won, so I got to tip my hat to you. I don't have a hat on, but if I did, I would tip my hat. And congratulations. I know you have to be happy, and maybe they'll have a three-peat. We'll see.
We'll see, Dave. I'm just so blessed. Blessed.
Yes, you are. All right, fans, thank you so much for all that you guys do for us. And you see that we have a new era of this show, 4 years running. And Mike, thank you so much. Thanks to Bubba, Kyle, everybody behind the scenes. Bubba helped us out with all the graphics, and he does all the production for that stuff. Thank you so much, Bubba. Appreciate you, man, very much. Mike, we'll see you next week. Until next time, we'll see you at the races. You've been watching and listening to Talking Racing with Mike Ray.